Well, listen, we didn't get 12 million. We didn't see the 3.5% of the US population protest on Saturday at the second No Kings protests. But 7 million people did show up at more than 2,700 protests across the country. Now, the first No Kings had 5 million people. This one had 7 million people. The movement is building. There was even a sign spotted in the crowd with my name on it, also mentioning a lot of our fellow creators, Midas Touch and Harry Sisson, Luke Beasley, and others. And we know that this and the hundreds and thousands of other signs were effective because MAGA went crazy to slam the protests beforehand, saying no one's going to go. These are going to be destructive. They're going to leave everything destroyed. It'll be the hardcore extreme left. And none of that happened. The protests were perfectly peaceful. The reaction from Trump and others after the fact confirms that they are running scared. Now, you might say, David, what would they be scared of? They control everything. Trump is in power. He has no more races to run. Well, they are scared of losing all ability to do anything if they lose the House in 2026. Trump understands that at this point, it is all about legacy. How will he be remembered? And if you get nothing done during the last 2 years of your presidency, it hits your legacy, which is something that terrifies him. They're also scared, by the way, that if the protests grow, and the next one is 8 million people, and the next one is 10 million people, that the protests will have the power to shut down the economic and sociocultural centers of this country, systems off of which they are making their money. It should also not be understated that the damage to Donald Trump's ego here is massive. Because at his core, Donald Trump wants to be liked. Do they like me? Did they give me good marks? He wants to be seen as attractive and athletic. That ship has sailed, okay. He wants to be seen as physically strong, okay. That ship has also sailed. And powerful and liked. Well, the power is in question as global allies are more and more skeptical of Donald Trump. And as far as people liking him, that is the hit to Trump's ego from these protests. 7 million people dislike Trump so much that they went out of their way to protest him all at the same time, and by the way, in other countries as well. So the question really becomes, what comes next? Is the goal 3 months from now to do another one of these and get 10 or maybe that important 3.5% of the population, which would be about 12 million people in the United States, to come out? Maybe it is. You know, you can't do too many of these too closely because then people get fatigued, they get desensitized. They really do have to be major events. I don't know what comes next, but I'm going to be on a call. It's a post-No Kings call for organizers, activists, and independent media this week with the organizers of No Kings to figure out what exactly comes next. And then as soon as I have information about that, certainly I will tell you. Now, I want to say once again, this is a message I sent to Trump supporters over the weekend, and I think it's worth sending again. We know there are many Trump supporters that are questioning continuing to support this regime. And for some of them, this weekend, they looked around and they saw in their communities, in blue states, but also in red states, in the traditional liberal cities, but also in other cities that aren't usually or as commonly associated as being the left-wing cities. They saw people who dislike Trump organize together and get out there in a positive, peaceful, nonviolent way, friendly to each other, helping each other, giving each other water. And so I know that there are some MAGAs, because some of them have posted to Twitter about it, and some of them have written to me, who are questioning. They are getting into the questioning phase as to this cult that they are a part of. We should not shame them. We should welcome them. If you encounter any of these folks, if you see them on Twitter, if you see them on other social media or in the real world, we should praise people who are able to say, hey, I'm reconsidering. I'm trying to think for myself and evaluate the facts to make a decision. Always be welcoming of them. We know from cult psychology, shaming people who are thinking of leaving the cult often pushes them right back into it where it's comfortable and seemingly safe, although it's often not actually safe. It feels like it's safe and it pushes them back in. So we got to make sure when people start questioning, we say, come on over. We understand you made a mistake. We're here for you. Okay. One other thing. The other sign that Donald Trump really didn't like these protests is that he started posting shit memes all over Truth Social. What am I talking about? I must be kidding, right? Wrong. And we've got to talk about this next.
Do you ever feel like you're being watched online? It's because you are. Even in incognito mode, your internet activity can still be tracked by your internet service provider, by big tech, by data brokers, and even by the government. The solution is our sponsor, Private Internet Access, a VPN that hides your IP address so you can't be tracked online and so you can access websites and content normally not available in your region. Private Internet Access is the only VPN that can prove in multiple ways they do not log your internet activity. Their software is open source. Anyone can see that the VPN is not logging your traffic. Multiple court cases have happened where law enforcement tried to get user activity logs from the company. The company didn't have them. You can choose from lightning fast IP addresses in all 50 US states and 91 countries. You can use private internet access on unlimited devices with just a single account, and my audience gets 83% off, which comes out to just $203 a month, plus get 4 extra months for free. Go to piavpn.com/Pacman. The link is in the description.